Hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back with another UFC Fight Night. This time, look at UFC Vegas 99. We're close to the 100th Vegas card. We're close to getting to that juicy Apex 100, which I believe they announced the main event. I looked at that main event, I was like, yep, that is Apex 100. Let's just hope that they put on like a really good Apex card. Though to be fair, lately the last Apex cards have been good on paper, not good in practice. And this one kind of falls suit, where it starts off pretty bad actually, but then it gets pretty good actually, believe it or not. So also I love that pick. That's like a really good like poster right there. I hope the event's good. But yes, let's look at it now. Oh, it says Vegas 98 still. Whoopsies, it's supposed to say 99. I wonder if we can change that real quick. Unless I borked it from the start. Nope, there we go. Okay. But yes, looking at the card, look at the first fight. Okay, I said it started really bad, not the first fight, but then it gets a stretch of pretty bad fights, to be honest with you. But yes, the first fight is going to be pretty good. Austin Lane versus Robelis Despeny. I'm sad about Robelis. He's coming off that fight where he got absolutely lay and prayed by Waldo Cortez Acosta. And Austin Lane, I believe, has not had a win in the UFC yet. He just had the no contest and then the loss against one of the Tafas. Oh, and the fight against Denise. I forgot about that. Yes, he does not have a win in the UFC yet. Which makes sense, to be perfectly honest with you, because his fight IQ is not there. His fighting ability, I don't think, is there. All he really has is athleticism, and that's not really enough. Robelis Despeny, I don't want to say he has only athleticism. Athleticism is a major thing, because as you see, he's goddamn 6'7", 87-inch reach. Insane. Like, Austin Lane is no slouch in terms of his reach and height, but Robelis Despeny, what is wrong with him? His striking is really good. I will say his striking is really good. His wrestling is just ass. Austin Lane, who knows? He might start coming out there, become a D1 grappler. With these heavyweights nowadays, unless you're at the very, very top echelon, you don't know what's going to happen. I do feel that this is going to be a finish, and I'm going to lean towards Robelis Despeny because he still has insane power. Don't look like Waldo Cortez Acosta knew what he needed to do, and he has decent wrestling, so... Oh, odds-wise. Odds. I'm going to be good about that. I'm going to be good at that. All right, so odds-wise, Robelis Despeny is a massive, massive favorite at minus 455. AK, don't bet this, because guess what? The under is going to be juiced to all hell as well. Melissa Martinez is going to be taking on Alice Ardeline. I don't know why I see her name differently in other places, but oh well, regardless. I'm not a huge fan of this because, yeah, Melissa Martinez, like, I don't think she's that good. She's coming off a 2-year layoff with a loss to Elise Reed, and that's her only fight in the UFC. Alice Ardeline, on the other hand, I also don't think is the best, to be perfectly honest with you, but she has a good streak of wins. It's just that her only fight in the UFC is a loss to Shanna Bannon. I don't know. I'm going to go Alice Ardeline, to be honest with you. From what I've seen, Melissa looks like the better fighter, but just inactivity disgusts me, and I just really can't. Look at, yeah, Melissa Martinez is going to be the minor favorite, minus 142. I lean towards the dog. It's women's MMA, so a lot of it ends up being dog or pass. I'm going to go with Alice decision. I know I lean towards women's MMA fights going over in decision a lot. And I gotta say, it's just being reinforced because the few fights that I am picking to not go the distance end up going the distance anyways. Like the Kayla Harrison fight. I really was shocked at that. Next fight is going to be Jessica Penne versus Elise Reed. I'm going to be kind of picking back off the last thing about Melissa Martinez, her last fight being lost to Reed. I don't think Reed is that good. I am sorry to say. Reed she's spiffy. She's literally win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. She's been like that for a while. She lost to Hughes. She lost to Loopy in her last matchup. Lucy is pretty decent. Then she beats girls like Melissa Martinez and Ginny Frey, which is not anything to write home about. I believe she also fought McKenna as well, too, if I'm correct. Corey McKenna? Yeah, goddamn, 2 years ago. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Elise Reed, I don't think is anything to write home about. She has a really good clinch game, and that's really about it. And Jessica Penne, I think, is just not very good. She does have very poor submission defense, so you can look at Elise Reed to potentially get a submission. She has a few never mind, I'm thinking of the wrong fight. I'm thinking of the fight above me. Yep, never mind. Yeah, take the decision for Elise Reed. Odds wise, Reed is a -170 favorite. That makes sense. I mentioned how most fights I take for women's fights, I take them to go the distance. I am so on the fence about this one. Jocelyn Edwards taking on Tamaris Vidal. This was such a bad string of fights. I'm sorry. It's not just because they're women's. These are just the bottom barrel women's fighters. Jocelyn Edwards, a very touted kickboxer who comes into UFC, and she has that point fight pretty kickboxing style where she doesn't really get much done, to be honest with you. Has no finishes in UFC. Versus Tamaris Vidal, who... she doesn't have much finishes as well, but the main problem is she is such a quitter. She's such a quitter, honestly. Like, I can't get over that last fight against Melissa Gatto. I can't get over it. She got punched in the breast and quit. And I don't know. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. That is just such a red flag for me. Granted, that's the only really bad one. Otherwise, she lost to Montserrat Redon, but that was via decision, I believe. Yes, via decision. Jocelyn Edwards has the ability to finish her after looking at that last fight. And like I said, she is a very good kickboxer. It's just that she has no power whatsoever. So I'm gonna go Jocelyn Edwards to get her first KO in the UFC, and that might blow up in my face, but I'm not betting it, so who cares? Odds wise, Jocelyn Edwards is a -258 favorite. I'm not laying that kind of chalk on Jocelyn Edwards. Brad Katona versus Gene Matsumoto. This should be a fun fight. Gene Matsumoto, he is undefeated. He has a really good record, and he is a very good all-rounder in terms of his combat ability. He has good submission game, very good ground game, and good knockouts. Brad Katona, on the other hand, he's a decision king. He has very little knockouts, very little submissions, finishes like just not there. But the thing is, he has cardio and he just stays on you for days. He's had some fun fights here and there, but at the end of the day, his finishing ability is just not very good. It's hard to say who wins this one and how they win it. I'm gonna look at the odds first and foremost. I'm gonna just tell you guys right now, I picked Katona decision. Odds wise, I picked the underdog. Interesting. I don't know. I could see a world where Katona just outlasts Gene Matsumoto. Gene Matsumoto seems like the kind of guy who wants to get his game going. And if you have a guy like Brad Katona constantly in his face, constantly throwing fire, just peppering him with shots, insane significant strike rate, I just lean more towards Brad Katona, to be honest with you. Get it done via decision. I think it's a decision either way, but it's a hard one to pick. It's a hard one to pick. Oh well. I'm going to be going Brad Katona, get it done via decision. Matheus Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. I like this matchup for Asu Almabayev. It's just that I'm really hardly leaning towards Asu Almabayev. It's just a little bit of a battle to decide how I think he wins this fight, to be perfectly honest with you. Matheus Nicolau has overall been a pretty solid fighter. He's only lost to... I want to say top guys, but Tatsuro Taira and then also Alex Perez, or not Tatsuro Taira, Brandon Royval, and then Tatsuro, Brandon Royval, right? I gotta look this up now. Yeah, Brandon Royval and Alex Perez's last two losses, but he's been finished. He's getting finished all the time. He's getting knocked out. I picked him to beat Alex Perez, and he just got knocked the hell out, which is just insanity to me. You getting knocked out by Alex Perez, that's just... And I think that we might see a little bit of the same, to be perfectly honest with you here. It's just that Asu Almabayev, his knockout ability has just not been impressing me. He's really been getting it done with his wrestling, and his wrestling is really good. Matheus Nicolau, though, on the other hand, his wrestling is also really good as well from what we've seen. So this might be a little bit of a battle, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm going to lean towards... I'm going to lean towards Asu Almabayev to get it done on a decision. That's what I'm going to pick. It's just that, like I said, I don't think... Has he ever lost in the UFC by a decision? I think he's been finished with all his UFC losses. Oh my god. That's That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, he's been finished in all his UFC losses, so I'm gonna pick Almabayev, the first person to take him to a decision. Darren the Damage Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. Ooh, boy, this one's a hard one. I think Pineda early. I think Elkins late. I think it's going to be a brawl. I think it's going to be some good violence. Both guys are... Oh, odds. Nicolau is going to be a plus 142 underdog. Almabayev minus 170 favorite. Okay, back to this fight. I think this fight is going to be kind of a car crash, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know, man. Elkins, like, he deals damage, but he takes so much damage. At this point in his career, I can absolutely see him getting finished round one, especially by a guy like Daniel Pineda, who just, he's all or nothing. He's all or nothing. The thing is, he loses decisions. He gasses out very fast, and then he just kind of tries to survive. I could see a world where Darren Elkins just goes in there and goes to kill him. Daniel Pineda has never won a decision. Darren Elkins, he's won 13 decisions. It's either Pineda early, Elkins late. I personally myself am going Pineda early. That's what my pick is. Let's see what the bookies have to say. Pineda is a minus 122 favorite. So yeah, if you're gonna lean towards the bookies and trust them, you have to go Pineda by finish, and I think that'd be a solid bet when it comes out. He's only minus 122, so it shouldn't be anything crazy, but who knows? Ultimately, that's gonna be my pick, but I can see a world where Elkins wins on the scorecard. Brady Heathstead versus Jake Hadley. This should be a very technical fight. Definitely a very technical fight. I went way too flippy floppy on who I picked. I don't know. I'm gonna go Hadley decision. I like Hadley's overall kicking game. I think he has some good submission ability. I think overall, I don't know. I think he could like withstand the grappling of Brady Heathstead. I always struggle with his name, but who knows? I can also see a world of Brady Heathstead just absolutely out grapples him, to be perfectly honest with you as well. I don't know. This one is too hard of one for me. It's just that thing that just scares me is him losing to Charles Johnson, Hadley. I don't know. Charles Johnson's been on a tear, though. He's been on a tear. It's just, that scares me still. And then losing to Cody Durden is pretty decent. I don't know. I'm going to see what the odds say. I took Hadley decision. The odds are leaning towards Heathstead. So I am definitely an underdog. I picked too many underdogs, which scares me. Like I said, I picked these before looking at the odds. And oof. I'm going to go with Jake Hadley to get done by decision, though. Hey, Charles Johnson. Just mentioned him. Versus Sumadarji. They both have the same records, yeah. Like I said, Charles Johnson's been on a tear lately, and I cannot say the same for Sumadarji, to be perfectly honest with you. I think this is going to be an easy pick for Charles Johnson. Sumadarji, I'm never going to forget him getting murdered by Matt Schnell, of all people, and then getting murdered by Tim Elliott, of all people. No, Tim Elliott's decent, but Matt Schnell, that's a big Charles Johnson, in their hand, absolutely destroyed Joshua Van. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Azat Maxim, like, he's on a tear. He's on a tear lately, and I was picking against him a lot because I thought it was finally his time. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to go with Charles Johnson to get it done absolutely against Sumadarji. And Sumadarji, he's been getting finished way too much. Give me Charles Johnson to get it done via KO. And which is a crazy thing, because Johnson is not a guy I really know for KOs in UFC. Johnson is a minus 225 favorite, which makes sense to me. And now on to the co-main event of the evening, Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. This should be a really fun one, honestly. I was hard leaning towards Rob Font, like looking into it, but I don't know, man. It's been a while since Rob Font has fought, and he was finally getting tagged by Figueiredo. I thought Figueiredo was going to finish him, to be perfectly honest with you. Rob Font is a guy who's notoriously been an absolute tank in the past, taking up so much damage against Chito Vera and outlanding him despite taking all the damage. And then I really thought Adrian Yanez was going to be a person to piece him up, and I watched it live as I watched my parlay die, as I watched Adrian Yanez die, and I watched his career die. Not actually, but still, you know what I mean. Kyler Phillips, on the other hand, I don't see him as much of a finisher, to be honest with you, but he's still pretty good. He put on a beating his last fight against, I believe it was Pedro Munoz. Yeah, he put on a beating against Pedro Munoz, which I really was impressed by, but still, I don't know if I think it's enough for him to take on Rob Font. Rob Font's jab is just so crisp and so precise, and that's how he just eats people alive, honestly. He can eat them alive with that jab. It's just that Kyler Phillips' defensive ability is also very good. So this is a really hard one, to be perfectly honest with you. I myself am going to be leaning towards Rob Font. I don't know if he's going to finish Kyler Phillips, though. I don't know if he's going to finish him. So I'm thinking he's probably going to be done on a decision, but it's an iffy one. It's a real iffy one. So ultimately, give me Rob Font getting it done by decision. Odds-wise, Font is a plus 340 underdog. Y'all don't value Font that much. Like, yeah, he's been losing a lot, but he's losing to good names. You forgot what he did to Cody Garbrandt? Giannis? Yeah, he lost to Figgy, Corey Sandhagen, Chito Vera, and Jose Aldo. And you think Kyler Phillips is going to beat him that bad? Oh my god. Plus 340? Nah. Even if you don't like the Font side, do not bet the Phillips side. You're not getting value, and that's a bad line in my honest opinion. Even if you lean towards Phillips, minus 170 at best. Okay. And then on to the main event of the evening. I think this is a very good fight between Anthony Hernandez and Michel Pereira. Anthony Hernandez is going to be 30 years of age, 12 wins, 2 losses, 2 knockouts, 8 submissions, 6 foot in terms of height, orthodox stance, 75-inch reach advantage, a 6.62 takedown average, a 64.32% significant strike accuracy, minus 150 favorite. He's going to have significance over Roman Kopylov, Edmund Shabazi, and Marc-Andre Barriault, and Josh Fremd. Why did I put him there? I even put the ellipses there. Be like, why did you put him there? What were you doing? But yes. And then the boy himself, Michel Pereira. Middleweight Michel Pereira. My God, this guy is insanity. So, at this weight class, he's going to be 31 years of age, 11 knockouts, 9 submissions, 6'1" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 73-inch reach disadvantage, a 1.53 takedown average, a 56.14% significant strike accuracy, plus 125 underdog, significance over Ihor Potieria, Michal Oleńczyczuk, Andrei Petrosky, and Santiago Ponzinibbio. I love this fight quite a bit. It's just, oof. I looked at it and I was like, man, Michel Pereira, he's on a little bit of a streak, isn't he? He's been doing pretty good. But it's not just his middleweight streak. Michel Pereira, the boy himself, he is on a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fight win streak, man. I was picking against him a lot of those. I only recently started picking him. I mean just against the Ihor Potieria fight, and he did not let me down, man. And Anthony Hernandez is a guy I've historically picked against a lot in the past, and it's only really paid off in the Kevin Holland fight. Anthony Hernandez, heavy grappler, really focused on grappling and finishing you. He's usually pretty exciting in the grappling. He can have a few stinkers here and there, but usually he is a guy who does not sit on top position, absolutely aims to get your back or land some nice TKO. He definitely searches for submissions. But Michel Pereira, man, since going up to middleweight, he's a monster. It's not like he's winning some pretty good fights. Like before, he was getting decision. He was a king of decision at welterweight. Since going up to middleweight, he said, F all that. And he just looks to execute people. He round 1 finishes on 3-fight round 1 finish streak. It's insanity to me. I really, really lean towards Michel Pereira. I know it's a close fight, and Anthony Hernandez can absolutely out-grapple him, hold him there, win a decision. Honestly, no, I don't think he would definitely get a finish, to be honest with you. I definitely want to look at getting the finish only for this fight, because I can see a world where Anthony Hernandez finishes him with some submissions or some ground game. It's just that Michel Pereira, he's a hard guy to finish. He's only been finished twice. Otherwise, he loses decisions. And I can't really see him sitting there and Hernandez getting a decision against him. But what I really can see is I can see Michel Pereira finishing him. Because look at the Kevin Holland fight. Michel Pereira at this stage, I think he's probably a better finisher, a better striker than middleweight Kevin Holland was. Granted, earlier in Anthony Hernandez's career, but Michel Pereira is a force. Michal Oleksiejczak and Ihor Porteria, don't get me wrong, not the best, but finishing them in the first round, how easily he dispatched him, I don't know, man. Both was only lasted a minute against Michel Pereira. I definitely think no matter what, this will go past a minute, probably past the first round. But I gotta go Michel Pereira with this. I really gotta. I'm gonna take him by TKO, and that's a hard pick. But overall, that should be a good fight. And once again, that'll be it. That's it for your boy. This has been your boy Gomi looking at UFC Apex 99. This seems to be a solid card overall. It's just that string of some few bad fights. Even the Katona Matsumoto fight, I don't know, has a chance. But overall, I like the main card. I hope it's fun. Whatever, I'm looking for 308. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.